So look, bro. First off, I want to say I apologize. I had to take some time off for a week, man. Had to get my mind right. But we back, baby. And you know, forget all that. I want to say happy Thanksgiving. You know, if you aren't spending time with your family right now or don't got no family, I'm right here for you, my boy. So get your popcorn, get your chips and your drink, and let's get straight to it, man. And today's video we got was Juice WRLD being extorted. Let's do it.
One of the first things I heard after Juice WRLD's passing was that the pilot on the private jet that he chartered to fly back to Chicago had tipped off law enforcement that there were several illegal items being carried on a plane. And this is why the police were waiting for him when he landed. But then I found out that a month before any of this happened, his flight from Los Angeles to Sydney, Australia was searched by federal agents because he was allegedly already on an FBI watch list.
Uh-oh. Oh shit. I ain't even know that now. Hold on.
So what is actually the background of what happened on that jet? Now, it's important to note that despite some of his fans being angry at the pilot for allegedly calling the police, the pilot could have very well been an informant, or at the very least coerced by the FBI into providing information. I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but the airport is...
Now, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That would be crazy if whole time that pilot was like work for the FBI. Like, that'd be some crazy ass shit, bro.
It's federal. If you're suspected in any way of crossing state lines, whether by plane or car, you've crossed into federal territory. So of course, if the FBI had checked one of his flights beforehand, why wouldn't they contact his pilot or any pilot that he chartered and order them to provide information? The FBI is not exactly someone you can withhold much information from, especially not as a pilot.
But hold on, bro. The whole crazy thing about this situation is like, I thought when you get you a private jet or something, don't your pilot works for you, like in a sense? So like, I feel like, why are you telling, gang? You know, you feel me? Like, it's kind of crazy. But also, another thing I also wanted to touch up on is like, all these people that you have around you when you're successful, bro, how the fuck did none of them choose to hide them drugs or take them themselves to prevent the money from dying or going to jail? This is a primary example of how much people will leech off you until you're dead and gone, bro. This shit crazy.
Instead of trying to point blame at his girlfriend, the pilot, or whoever was on the flight, the question people should be asking is why over 70 pounds of narcotics were found on the plane. If it were just a few pounds, then I'd say it was all for personal use. It was his birthday week, and according to what his girlfriend told law enforcement, he was an addict. But 70 sounds a lot like trafficking. But why would an artist whose music has already gone gold, platinum, and even diamond while he was alive, living in Encino, one of the most expensive areas in Los Angeles, need to traffic anything?
That don't make no sense, bro. And also too, I do think that he probably was being extorted, bro. Cause at the same time, bro, the whole setup of how he died, how the fuck do you let a multi-platinum artist overdose on some drugs and y'all all standing right there? Shouldn't y'all motherfuckers take the deal? Like, on some shit like, here, I'm gonna go to jail for you. You handle your business and just bail me out. Simple. This shit crazy.
And also, he was only visiting Chicago. He wasn't living there. As I said, he lived in Encino. And this is confirmed by not only he himself stating that he lived in LA, but the Chicago Fire Department also confirmed that in his post-mortem report. But none of this was more surprising than finding out that his remains were transferred to Leak & Sons. If you're not from Chicago, you have no idea what this is, but it's a grimy funeral home in a very grimy area. And his funeral wasn't held there, but the mere mention of it made a certain hood pop into my head, No Limit, which is on 79th, just like Leak & Sons, only Leak & Sons is a bit further west. Now,
Okay, but my thing is, what would No Limit need to extort him for, though? Because if we see in countless interviews and vlogs and shit, if you go look back in time with Juice WRLD and G Herbo, he be making it seem like this my real brother, this my bro. So if there's some shit underneath the table that we don't know about, I ain't gonna lie, bro, that shit fucked up.
Kinda unclear on what links a kid from the south suburbs to a hood on 79th Street. As Juice WRLD said himself, his mother moved him away from the hood a long time before he blew up. So the guy that signed him after being put onto his music was Lil Bibby, who was a rapper turned executive from No Limit, who also did not know Juice WRLD. When he met Juice WRLD for the first time, he was in a studio with other guys from No Limit who also did not know him. Now, I'll admit that while he was alive, I always thought his association with No Limit was strange. Just being from the city, the suburbs are their own world, and typically the only way you see a guy from the suburbs heavily associating himself with a neighborhood in the inner city is if there was some type of family ties. For instance, there are usually different branches in a family.
Or or if he got something to offer. Do your homework on that.
Family, and a lot of people that grew up in the hood have cousins that grew up middle class in the suburbs. I have family all over the country, from the hood in Memphis to the suburbs in the valley on the west coast. Now, I don't believe that Bibby is as affiliated with No Limit as he once was, since he really has been playing the executive role for a while, far removed from Chicago. But the guys introduced to Juice WRLD due to his affiliation with Bibby are not executives living in mansions. They are very much guys that were still in the streets. So what use would a millionaire raised in the suburbs be to a street gang? Well, in 2022, 3 Army soldiers along with several other people were accused of trafficking weapons to fuel a gang war.
Hold on, fam. Come here. Bro, did this nigga just say Army soldiers, bro? That is crazy. Army soldiers is in on this? Like, I ain't gonna lie. This is people that's supposed to be protecting us, right? I ain't gonna lie, we not safe. We are not safe at all, bro.
Which also took the life of a No Limit associate, proving that even with how disorganized gangs are in Chicago, at least some blocks have enough money flowing through them to get certain people in certain positions to acquire things for them. And if what I speculate is true, it's not hard to believe that Juice WRLD was just being used by somebody for his money and access to private flights. The streets are a cold place, and when you're dealing with people at that level, they'll happily take advantage of you and find the right guy to send you the proposition you can't.
But this is my thing I don't understand is like, why do people who did not grow up in the streets, right? Why do y'all choose to go and want to hang with some niggas that's in the streets? Like, I don't think y'all realize, like, these motherfuckers are using y'all for bread, using y'all to get out of their situation. So if you think there's a genuine relationship between y'all two, my guy, you are mistaken.
Refuse. When I saw a video of Juice WRLD freestyling and he was actually disrespecting dead people, including some of No Limit ops, I knew there was some type of follower activity going on. Again, he's from the
see, I didn't know this. Now, disrespecting the people that you run with, dead ops, that is kind of a little weird. Now, this shit getting spooky.
Suburbs, and although some suburbs of Chicago are dangerous, some are very much not. And he grew up in Homewood, which I would definitely not describe as dangerous or gang infested. So would it be far-fetched to say that some guys from 79th convinced him to bring some weight in for them? I don't believe so. In fact, No Limit Cairo, a character from No Limit, even admitted on No Jumper of all places that he was on the plane with him the day Juice WRLD died. Now, it's important to remember that Cairo is not a rapper. He tried his hand in vlogging on YouTube before he ended up in the feds, but he was strictly known for being a guy in the streets for No Limit. Not a rapper, producer, or anything that has to do with music.
But my thing is, what do y'all need him for to bring drugs in, though? That's what I don't understand. If y'all claim y'all got all this money like y'all say y'all do, why the fuck y'all can't do it? Why the fuck y'all can't do it yourself? It don't make no sense. Like, y'all really putting a dude life at jeopardy who got a nice mom, nice family, who's doing good in life for the simple fact of y'all bringing in drugs, gang? That shit's selfish as hell.
And listen, a lot of these guys could have genuinely liked Juice WRLD and become his friends, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't ask him to do something risky. He was 20 and so were a lot of guys around him, and when I was 20, I was in college, so I can't say that I never saw anyone be convinced to do something that would ruin their life if they got caught. And this is the streets, so it's even worse. And there is even a rumor that some of the guys around him took Juice WRLD's watch after he died. And it's not the...
Nah, fam, that's weird as fuck. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the same shit happened for King Von. Y'all remember that, right? When King Von died, his sister and them said that his homeboys ransacked his house and took his shoes, his clothes, and then y'all seen when they posted on the internet wearing his clothes and jewelry. Like, that shit's not weird. These niggas are... That shit is weird. These niggas are not your homies. I hope y'all know that.
Same, but it just reminds me of Chief Keef having things stolen out of his house because he let people in that he thought were his friends. In reality, most people are just opportunists, especially when you're the one that achieves something that most people only dream about. I'm from 79th, so I can just imagine what these guys felt like flying on private jets with Juice WRLD and riding around LA in foreign cars. This is a guy that was more successful than any rapper and arguably any entertainer from Chicago ever since Kanye West.
But look, bro, here's the crazy part. This is how you know how much humanity is selfish, right? If Juice WRLD had y'all driving in Lambos, had y'all in the biggest cribs around the biggest celebrities, giving y'all the opportunity of a lifetime that only people could imagine and dream of, why the fuck, when he was on that jet and he was about to take them drugs in that bathroom, why didn't none of y'all be like, hey, bro, don't even worry about it. I'm going to take the rap for this. You make sure you keep handling your business on the outside of the world and bail me out this motherfucker. That's what real friends do. And obviously in this situation, they not his real mans, bro. They were just using them and leeches. That's crazy.
During his life, he was top 10 in all of music as far as popularity. Just
Right.
standing next to him would have got you
Crazy
50,000
talent.
followers. And Cairo, now I'm not saying that if what I speculate is true that he was involved, as Cairo is the only guy from that area that was smart enough to capitalize off his own name and affiliation with people more famous than him, and it led to him gaining hundreds of thousands of views on his own YouTube channel.
But this is smart though. Like, I ain't gonna lie, everybody in the streets, if you're around somebody who's getting to it or YouTubing like reaction channel or a rapper, an actor, bro, this is the way that you do it right here. You don't look to get free handouts, bro. You create a way for yourself. Shout out Cairo just for this.
Earning his own money. And it's also important to remember that there is no current investigation into all of the things found on his plane. Some of the people that were on board with him were only charged with weapons, but whatever trafficking investigation the feds had open on Juice WRLD, they clearly thought he was the ringleader because the case is closed. And several No Limit members have been arrested since his death, including Cairo, but none charged with drug trafficking. The affiliation between Juice and No Limit just shows how naive he really was. Since he was discovered by a No Limit associate, and he's the one that put him in the room with the other label executives, he might feel like he owes some type of loyalty to him, and that's fine. And if the guys around Lil Bibby showed Juice WRLD support, and he felt loyalty to them as well, that's fine too. But being from Chicago, you would know that just being seen with some of these guys can make you a target, which is unnecessary, especially if you're not actually involved in what they have going on.
But why would you want to put yourself in this situation in the first place? I don't understand how you didn't grow up in the hood, you get successful, but you want to go back to the hood that you were never in the first place. That's fucking stupid.
No Limit is a very infamous hood, and they've been getting busy for over 30 years. Multiple generations, from back in the day when it was just called Terrortown to today with Drench Gang. These are some guys that you're only seen with if you're prepared to take on everything that they're into. And it's no secret, this has been one of the more intimidating cliques, like I said, for over 30 years. It's not just some group of young guys that jumped in the streets and started gang banging. But maybe Juice was just so under the influence most of the time that he didn't even realize what kind of danger he was putting himself in just by being around them.
And two, if Juice had real friends around him, they would have made sure most definitely that he would stop doing drugs, or at the minimum, if he couldn't stop, he would limit himself, if that makes sense, right? Cause I feel like if my mans is here and I'm getting lit, he gonna be like, hey bro, you had too much, or hey bro, you got a lot to lose. Chill, bro. But it seemed like they were using the drugs to keep him under the influence so they can get whatever they want.
With the back door always open in Chicago, it's hard for me to believe that Juice WRLD wasn't somewhat intimidated by these guys, as in his freestyle where he was dissing their ops, he even hesitated for a second as if almost rethinking his actions. But the person behind the camera dropping the rakes was most likely No Limit. Either way, if you want to believe that the police being tipped off is the reason Juice WRLD is no longer here, that's fine. But whatever was going on, it just doesn't look like something that he should have ever been involved with in the first place. Thanks for watching, and rest in peace to Gerard Higgins.
Man, rest in peace to Juice WRLD, bro. He seemed like he was a great ass dude, bro. Just the circumstances he was dealt and he put himself in created his consequences. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.